3, 2. Okay, all settings are working. Let's go ahead and switch screens here. Hi, everybody. How are you? Welcome in. Today's video is relatively simple. We're doing our next second portion of our second video in the new string or new video series or new player series for Elite Dangerous. That being said, let's get right on into it. Because now you've had your chance to sit and play Elite for a bit. You've gotten your feet wet. You've done submissions. You've done a bit of this, that, and the third. But you're tired of seeing orange. You're tired of having 1.5 billion questions to ask and not knowing where to find out the answers. So we're going to start here. Yes, I know. One of our answers is right here, is right up here. We will get to that in a moment. What we're doing is going to be showing you a bunch of tools and resources that you as new players need to at least be aware of, if not familiar with. The first one, for those who are tired of seeing orange already, or who ever at any point desire to stop seeing all of the orange in the stock UI. EDHM, Elite Dangerous HUD Mod, is a must. If you remember in the last video, my HUD is various and sundry colors of pink and purple and white. That is through Elite Dangerous HUD Mod. You would download it, install it. I have already, so let's go ahead and load it up. This is the interface once it is installed. It will give you a bunch of stock themes that you can pick from as a starting point. You could also just go straight into modifying everything to where you want it to be. Everything from the lighting in the cabin to the holo displays in front of your chair to ship panels. Every aspect of the UI, the actual UI of Elite, can be modified utilizing EDHM. Now, there will be a link to every resource we cover here today in the description below. So that's EDHM. Next up on the list is Inara. Inara is basically one of the biggest resources you will have for Elite. It will have everything from being able to find a station nearest to where you are, to trade routes and commodity prices, to where to go for engineering, for where to pick up certain ships and modules. It covers everything. It even lets you go and track, hey, what ships do I have? You go and create an account, go and link it to your Frontier account, the account specifically that you're playing Elite Dangerous through, and specifically for the game because that's just where it's got to be. Um, but also because that allows it to pull those servers and come back here, or bring all that information back here in some place concise. This page here is for the new account. As you can see, it's tiny. We really don't have nothing. Sidewinder that is currently on the account, our character, is the only ship she had, or this character has so far. And that's fine. For now. This is something to explore, to understand, to learn all you can from it. It is probably the single most powerful tool you can have for Elite. Next up on our list is going to be EDSY, Elite Dangerous Shipyard. Now, yes, there is also Coriolis, which some people will swear by, or some players will swear by more than others. Personally, I use EDSY. I have used EDSY since I moved over to PC from console because Coriolis stopped getting updates at about the same time I came up to PC. And as soon as I couldn't apply modules from a game that I was wanting to apply to a ship in a theory crafting build, I stopped. EDSY has been getting regular updates and continues to get regular updates as new things come out in the game. And as far as I can tell, the numbers are more accurate by a long shot. So that helps me. And I'm sure it will help you as well. EDSY has every ship that is currently in the game, going from your little teeny tiny baby Sidewinder all the way up to your Uber, Cutter, Corvette, and Anaconda. Everything. Just to show you, Sidewinder, it lists every module that is able to be placed in a particular slot. You have how many hard points it has, you have how many utility slots, it shows you how many optional internals, how many or what your core internals are for each particular ship. Let's go ahead, bring up an example of the T9 Heavy cargo ship. It's the way its base set up to be. You have your hard points, you have your utility slots, you have your internals, and you have your optional internals, and you have your core internals. Everything is pretty much set, or at least starts with the base loadout you buy it with at any particular spaceport. Down here at the bottom, you will see a whole bunch of smaller panels that have a whole bunch of other numbers. These are good numbers. These numbers make things go round. But when you're theory crafting a ship, start here. Start in EDSY. Don't start in game. Start with EDSY. Start with the space frame that you're wanting to play with, and go from there. Next, there are many of you who will be wanting to go long-range exploration, basically wanting to just point at a distant star and fly there. there's a couple ways you can do that. One, you can do it in-game using the in-game route plotters, and that'll work. But after a certain point, you start having it be tedious, especially for those of us who have ADHD and are wanting to speed things up because we have limited number of spoons, and if we don't have enough spoons to get through the trip, we lose interest. So that's where Spanch comes in. Again, the all link to everything we're covering here will be in the video description below. Spanch has several different route planners that you can use, all of which talk to most of these tools all talk to each other in some way, shape, or form, mind you. So but we have the neutron plotter, we have the road to riches, which the road to riches is basically sets. No, you have the neutron plotter, road to riches, ammonia world, Earth-like world routes, trade planner, tourist planner, fleet carrier router, which comes in later in the game, galaxy plotter, and expressway to exomastery. That's your exobio stuff. Just doing the road to riches, you'll still get plenty of exobio stuff. Trust me. Most often doing long-range exploration trips, you'll be using the neutron router or the galaxy router, galaxy plotter. One of the two. Personally, use the neutron router. I use the neutron router when I go on my long-range trips. And then once I get out to the destination I'm looking to explore around, I will then switch to Road to Riches. Set the radius, set my jump range, have it be a looping or a circle. So basically I start in one system and it takes me out around it in a loop, in a big huge sphere, and then drops me back. Because anymore when I take my long range exploration trips, I'm actually also taking my carrier. But that is, again, late game stuff that once you have an understanding of how to make money in the game and how to enjoy making said money in the game, that's when you want to go worrying about a fleet carrier. Until then, you'll have a station that you have decided as being your home station, which is fine. It's perfect. Next, we're going to cover Sirius Corp. Sirius Corp has a few different resources. The most important one that I want to point out here is the ship anatomy. Now, unfortunately, it is not getting updates to include the Python Mark II and the other new ships coming to Elite this year. However, that does not mean it is a useless tool. Not everyone will be flying a Python Mark II. Or a Type 8, or whatever the other two ships coming are. Plus, when dealing with certain forms of combat, you have certain ships that are basically the meta for the task, like for AX or anti-Xeno stuff. There, you're looking for convergence. This shows you perfectly what convergence you have on most ships. And I'm saying most, not all, because it doesn't cover the Python Mark II and the others. But most. Great resource to have. Great thing to know about. Next, we'll go ahead and cover EDA or EDMC, Elite Dangerous Market Connector. This is this little tool right here. This ties everything together. Honestly, it ties pretty much everything together. This connects what you're doing actively, like live on or in game, to places like Inara through the use of what is called an API key, which you can find here. I am not going to show it on this website or on the and show you where to find that. You can find that honestly going here to the settings tab from your own profile over to API settings. I'm not showing you mine. I don't need you messing with my settings. Anyhow, EDHN or EDMC ties everything together, ties your game to all of the tools and such that you will be wanting to use at any point in your career. Ties it all together. Um, there's one we'll have to go over to my main screen or main tower, my main computer for that I don't have over here. But we can get to that in a bit as well. Let's see here. After EDMC, Commander's Toolbox is set up by the folks over at D2EA, Down to Earth Astronomy, before he started his Cosmic Curiosity channel, which is advertised here. But this will have everything you need that Inara doesn't give you. This will tell you how to find stuff, where to find it, and specifically for all of those engineering materials, which is something you learn about later. And we will cover that in a later video when I unlock it on the tutorial account. The last thing we're going to cover is the Elite Dangerous Wiki. Well, second to last thing we're going to cover is the Elite Dangerous Wiki. This is the fandom page and covers basically a little bit of everything. Describes how things happen, mechanics and lore, that other portions of what we've covered here today don't. That being said, this is derived by um, player input, user input, as opposed to provided by BFDev themselves. Information here, it can be wrong. I'm not saying it all is, but it can be wrong. So take everything here with a grain of salt until you go to the location and actually see it for yourself. Okay, I think that's everything except for one item. Let me go ahead and get it pulled up. The tool we're looking at here is EDOMH. Elite Dangerous Odyssey Materials Helper. This will help you with stuff that's for your ground game, for your ships. It will help cover everything. And especially dealing with engineering. That's really where this tool shines, when you're dealing with engineering. As you go, you'll end up coming across missions that provide materials as rewards. All of those materials get put into a special pocket, special compartments on your ship that are fourth dimensional in nature, meaning they are bigger on the inside than they are on the outside. And that's fine. It's wonderful. When you get towards engineering, use EDMC or EDMOH to see everything that you need. It will show you the ships. Let you create a ship right here. Partially skipping the need entirely for EDSY. Partially. EDOMH is a bit heavier than EDSY though, so, and a lot less portable. Unless you have it on your on a laptop or something, and you're playing the game off your laptop. EDOMH requires a connection or a active profile to use. So let's go ahead and we'll pull up a Python Mark II. Showing us where each of the hard points are on a physical model of the ship, where each of the utility slots are. Doesn't give us where internals are, but we can go and grab a slot, pick a module. Let's just go ahead and grab these. high cap, and corrosive. Okay? Then hit add all to wish list. Default. And boom! Everything you needed is there. Everything you need to collect is there. In terms of mats. Military super caps. Cool! That's the only thing I'm missing here to be able to take a multi-cannon up to G5 high cap. And corrosive. That's awesome. Does all the math for you. And puts it up in a UI that you can actually observe and understand. Tells you where to go to get the engineering done. Let's say we had that, and we also wanted to have... Oh, screw it. There. Just imported the build for my Corvette. See down here? It's giving us a full list of everywhere, or every engineer that we would need to hit to be able to engineer the entire ship. Now, granted, there's a bunch of stuff that we don't have that we do need, or that we need more of, which just means you gotta go out and go mat gathering. That's fine. Here's a hint. This will help you with your mat gathering too.
Emergency alert. Will passengers please exit the station at the nearest evacuation point?
Come down here to HGEs. There's 8 high-grade emission sources that it will have you go looking for, or high-grade 8 materials that are required to be gathered in high-grade emission sources. This is where to find them. This shows you where they were last found in-game by connecting to the Elite Dangerous Data Network, which EDMC also talks to. So it's a whole community-based... The game is based on community. That's why I'm here, trying to give y'all information on how to play. I hope this helps. If there are other things that you can think of that you need or have questions on, please feel free to ask in the comments below. I will listen. If I cannot answer, hey, it will come up in a later video. Other than that, last thing, after you're done playing in open, or once you're done with the tutorial, I should have mentioned this last video, I'm going to go ahead and mention it at the tail of this one. Play in solo for a while. Yes, the game is about community. For a while, starting out as a new player.
Incoming mission critical
Play in
message.
solo. Play in solo so you don't have the game ruined for you until you're better. Until you literally get good. It's the unfortunate statement here. Looks like it's time for this character to set out elsewhere into the black. Anyway, y'all have a good night.
Ensure
I
you
will
have
catch
sent
y'all
your
later.
landing request before approaching the docking area. If your request has not been
Bye.
authorized,
Fly
leave
safe,
the landing
everyone.
area and resubmit.